Back
The
roads.
first day of September, and I would like to call this public hearing to order. There is a quorum present with all commissioners in attendance. The Grimes County Commissioner Court will conduct a public hearing on the proposed tax rate of .54282 per $100 taxable value for the fiscal year October 1, 2010 through September the 30th, 2011. At 9 a.m. in the Commissioners Courtroom with the Grimes County Courthouse Annex located at 114 West Buddington, Anderson, Texas. I'm going to first call on Mr. Sullivan to possibly discuss any of the basic issues that might need some clarity, and then we'll take questions from the audience.
Judge, commissioners, taxpayers, interested parties, and others, good morning. For the record, my name is Bill Sullivan. I currently serve as the Chief Appraiser of the Grimes County Appraisal District. The Appraisal District provides technical assistance with 12 taxing units in the county regarding the tax rate adoption process, and it is in the role of a technical advisor for both the court and the taxpayers that I appear here today. Allow me to make my standard disclaimer that I am not here as an advocate for the adoption of any particular tax rate. The adoption of the tax rate is a policy issue, perhaps more accurately, a political issue that is decided by the Commissioner's Court. It has long been the desire of the Texas legislature to be sure that taxing units such as counties, cities, school districts adequately inform taxpayers as to what tax rates and level of tax revenue they propose to adopt each fiscal year. To that end, the legislature has constructed an extremely technical and elaborate tax rate adoption process involving a series of calculations, notices, and hearings. One of the features of this process is that it sometimes uses numbers comparisons that are the result of statutory calculations rather than actual numbers. The best analogy I can give you to that is that when we all sit down and file our federal income tax returns, somewhere along the way we generate a number that's gross income, and then from there on we do plus and minuses. And the form says add line 32 and 33 and take that away from line 17. That's what we do. So this is somewhat the same scenario. I've found that the best way, I believe, to address the issues here is to sort of slice through those technicalities and focus on the fundamentals. And I'll do that in a few minutes by looking at that data sheet that I handed out. But nevertheless, if you have been able to look at the notice that was published in the paper several weeks ago, the notice that was published this week, the notices that will be published in the upcoming week, and you can figure all that out. I congratulate you on your intellect and your insight, and would ask for your patience while the rest of us, me included, take a minute to go through that. The Commissioner's Court may adopt any tax rate it sees fit. Their only limitation is there is a constitutional limit of 80 cents per 100. This process does not dictate what rate the court must adopt. It simply says that if they adopt rates above certain thresholds, then that proposal of that tax rate triggers certain hearings and notices. If you will look at the notice that was in the paper, and some of this seems sort of obvious, but again, to get back to fundamentals, notice of public hearing on tax increase. no question about that. The county is proposing to increase the total tax levy above what it was last year. The total tax levy. First sentence says county grounds will hold 2 public hearings on a proposal to increase total tax revenue from properties on the road and preceding tax year by 2.37%. Parentheses, percentage by which proposed tax rate exceeds the lower rolled out tax rate or effective tax rate calculated under Chapter 26 tax code. Whenever I see something in parentheses, that tells me, well, what I just read is that I better not take that at face value. That's what it is. All right. That 2.3% again goes back to these statutorily required calculations, and we'll look at the actual percent in a minute. One good statement in the notice, your individual taxes may increase at a greater or lesser rate or even decrease depending on the change in the taxable value of your property in relation to the change in taxable value of all other property, and the tax rate is adopted. If you look at the 40-some thousand items of property that are on the appraisal roll, every year in every appraisal district in every county in the state of Texas, some of those, the values for some of those properties will go up, some of them will stay the same, and some of them will go down. That's what this sentence is telling. Down at the bottom of the notice, it shows some data for average homestead values. And again, that's not quite what it seems. If you look at that, it says, okay, it looks like the value on all the homesteads went up by some fairly small percent. That's not correct. In general, across the board, overall, most value on single-family residential properties stayed the same from 2009 to 2010. This average figure you see is the 5,000 or so properties that had a homestead last year. Let's look at the ones that have a homestead this year. 300 or 400 of those no longer qualify. 300 or 400 new ones come online. You just have a new mix of properties. Again, though, that just gives you some kind of number to look at. Everything that had a homestead last year, everything that had a homestead this year, but it's not necessarily the same identical property year to year. Again, that's required by the statute. If you will look at the worksheet that I gave you, keep in mind this is a worksheet. It's not a financial statement. I'm not an accountant. This is a comparison of tax data that kind of cuts through all of this business and gets to the point at hand why we're here today. If you're looking at the first column under descriptions, net taxable value, what's that? You go out and appraise all the property, and from that number subtract all of the exemptions, the disabled persons exemptions, the disabled veterans exemptions, the over 65s, the pollution control exemptions, all exemptions and so forth required by law. The tax rate, that's the rate that the court will choose, and that is the rate that per $100 will be used to calculate the tax bill. So in terms of the total, the net taxable value, the net taxable value of your property and mine and everybody else's, multiplied by that tax rate, we get a tax levy. We add to that what we call a tax ceiling levy, because we have folks who are over 65 and who are disabled, and on their homestead exemptions, they have a tax ceiling in place that's not included in that net taxable number, so we have to add it in down a little later. So the levy plus the tax ceiling levy, you get a total tax levy. That would be the amount that it would be if you added up all the tax bills that are going to be sent out this fall if the court adopts this rate of 0.54282 per $100. Not all of that's going to get paid. A 95% collection ratio was used here as an example. Actually, the last 5 years or so, it's averaged about 96.25 to 96%.